Hi, everybody. Good evening. Russell Moore coming to you live again from Dedicated to Financial Literacy. Once again, I'm back at you. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to continue to hear some of this content that I'm throwing out there and spitting at you. Then please hit the bell, the notify, and also hit the like signal if you like what you hear. Okay. I've been talking about ADUs. My last segment, I talked about ADUs, and so I'm going to start. I'm kind of going to break down the bills that I talked about in the last segment. I kind of ran through them real quickly. So, in fact, I may have misspoken on a couple of them, but I think I mentioned on that last video 868. There is no 868. It's it's Bill 881 and Bill 68, AB 68. Okay. Assembly bill. AB stands for assembly bill. So if you hear me make that term, I'm just doing the short version. AB, that's assembly bill, and then I'll give the number, the penal number. Okay. So, so what I'm going to do is do several of these, and we're talking about ADUs, accessory dwelling units. And we talked about the fact that an accessory dwelling unit is basically an additional unit or an additional home on your property. So if say you buy a house and the house has a large garage, you can convert that garage to an ADU. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is particularly for those that are in California. All right, this is just California. I want to make that clear. Okay, these bills are from California. All right, I don't know if I said that in my last segment. All right, but what I'm going to do is each segment I'm going to break down just maybe one or two bills just to keep the videos not going on forever. Okay, all right. So tonight I'm going to talk about. So again, briefly, an ADU is a dwelling, an extra dwelling on your property. And so, what I'm going to talk about is the bills and the bills that have been passed by Governor Gavin Newsom, um, particularly in 2020. Most of these were signed in 2020. They are to assist people with actually creating income property on your property, on your current property, creating basically like a duplex or a triplex. And they've basically changed a lot of things and to enable us to do that here in California. And that's what this is all about. Why? We talked about the homeless situation. Our homeless situation here in California is really bad. So this is actually a plan in an attempt to help out because our housing, we are so low on housing. We don't have enough housing. This is all over the country, but particularly in California. I think we need something like 300,000 more houses built a year in order to catch up. We're way behind on houses. And so in other words, we got more people than we have homes. Okay? So this is an answer to that or an attempt, just attempted solution. The only thing that I would say to the governor is like, many of the people, not all homeless people are in this situation, but some of them have mental issues, drug problems. And so I don't know too many people who own a home and that are going to build a home and then allow somebody who's heavily on drugs to rent that out. First of all, somebody that's on drugs, all their money is going to go to drugs. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay your rent. So I'm just wondering how this is going to help the homeless. But it is something good for if you're a home buyer or if you're attempting to buy a home right now. I know the prices are high, but the rates are low. And if you can get a 30-year fixed rate and get it locked in, because let me tell you, the rates are going to go up. The Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, the rates are going to go up. And I think before the end of the year or at the latest, the first quarter of 2022, watch my words. I always say I'm the financial prophet. anyway, let's go jump into this. So this segment I want to talk about Bill 881. 881. And then the next segment, if you tune into the next segment, I will be doing bill number 670. I'll probably combine 670 with bill number 68, AB 68. And the reason why is because bill 670, there's not much to it. Okay, so I'll probably combine two or three together the next segment. Okay, next video segment. All right. Bill 881. One of the things about Bill 811, AB 881, is that prior to 2020, January 2020, you could not build up to the property line. And what would happen is if you bought a home here in California, your property line, say in the back, could be up to 20. You couldn't build up to like 20 feet, what's called a setback. There's a setback area, and that's where you could build up to the setback, which would be sometimes about 20 feet in the back, 25 feet in the front, 15 to 20 feet on the sides of your house. And so now what they've done, they've gotten rid of that and said now you can build up to 4 feet. You can build up to 4 feet of that property line now, okay? Now, there are other regulations that could come into play and permits and all of that, but what it does is it gives you more room to build on your property now. Okay, that's one of the things. Another thing is that the size of the ADU, the size of the dwelling that you're going to build, there was a limit on that. But now you can build up to 50% of your primary house up to 1,300 square feet. So does that make sense? So say you had a house your house is 3,000 square feet. Now, half of that 50% would be 1,500, right? But you only, the limit is 1,300. So you can go all the way to the limit and build an ADU in your home up to 1,300 square feet, 50% of the primary resident. Or now say your unit was 1,100 square feet or 1,000 square feet. Say your primary was 1,000 square feet or 11 square. The minimum is 800. So you can still build up to 800 square feet. You get that? Instead of 500, because say if your primary is 1,000, 50% is 500 square feet, right? 500. But because there's a minimum, a limit, you can actually go up to 800 square feet, even if your residence is only 11 or 1,200 square feet. Or 1,300 square feet. All right. So there's a minimum there. So that's great. All right. And then the other thing is you can actually now you can convert your garage, which would be called a JADU. And I didn't say this the last time. A JADU, meaning junior accessory dwelling unit. A JADU. That's because it's attached. The garage, if it's attached to your home, it's a JADU. And you can build that, but you can build another one. If you have the room on the property, you can build another ADU. So now you can have 3 dwelling units. Okay? They've gotten rid of that regulation that didn't permit you to do that. Okay? And then that's wonderful news. So the garage would be a JADU up to 500 square feet. I got to say that. Your junior can be built up to 500 square feet. All right? Most garages, particularly we're talking about Los Angeles, South Central, they have large garages. Most of them are between 350 and 500 square feet. All right? So that's another thing. So you can build a junior ADU, and then you can build an actual, a true structural ADU from the ground up as well. All right, that's detached. That's not attached to the house. So you can have up to 3. Your primary home, a junior ADU, and an ADU. All right. The other thing, what is it that 881 does? It removes owner occupancy. That's another thing that this bill does. It used to be that you had to occupy the product. If you built an ADU, you had to live in one. That's no longer the case. A lot of people don't know this. That rule is no longer in play. They removed the owner occupancy, so you don't have to. You don't have to occupy the ADU. You don't have to occupy the property. All right, and I think that's it for 881. There might be some other things. I'll look it up, but I want to encourage you to Google AB 881 for accessory dwelling units in California. This is good news for you guys, okay? So I just want to let you guys know, get out there, buy your property. Don't be afraid. I know the prices are high. I do feel like the market, I've been already noticing that more and more homes are getting price cuts. I don't know if you've noticed that. If you've been looking at Redfin and Zillow and Realty.com, a lot of homes are starting to cut their prices. A lot of sellers are starting to cut their prices. Interesting. Keep your eye on that. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening, everybody. And I look forward to it. And remember, you will not earn if you do not learn, and you will not lead if you do not read. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.